Let's bring out our first guest to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Timaree Lee! Don't mind the gloves. There's a rubber glove on your seat.
Yeah.
We were giving vaccinations for cooties.
Cootie shots.
Earlier, because we care.
Very important.
It is.
Don't mind me.
We do not. We do not mind you at all. So Dr. Timaree, you are a, what is your title?
That's a broad thing. My PhD is in human sexuality.
Human sexuality.
So I'm a sexuality educator. Yes.
Sexuality. And what got you started in having this, what made you think that sexuality is my calling, to educate about sexuality? What got you started there?
I get that question like a fair amount, and the question that I have in response is, why the fuck aren't all of you? Like, yeah! Like, you heard about sex, right? And then you find out that it's a job and you want to do something else. You're like, nah, I'm gonna move papers around, or I don't know what people do, but like, it's ceaselessly fascinating. It's interesting. So, and I like talking about it, and a lot of people don't. So it's like, I'm gonna go talk to people about it.
Yeah, when you put it that way, I'm changing my whole. I'm doing it now. I'm going to teach people about sex. Except nobody wants to learn about sex from someone who looks like that. Really, strapping.
You are definitely a type.
You're like some subcategory of bear.
I'm definitely a subcategory bear. That subcategory is called super bear. No, I'll have you know, I've had sex more than twice. More than 2 people have agreed. No, I've had sex. How can you go back to hugs? It's like, oh, I'll have a hamburger. I just ate a T-bone steak.
I like both things.
You're right. That's actually, it's a very common thing that I just said.
I mean, this is why there's like an industry of professional cuddlers.
Yeah. Well, there is?
Yeah, this is absolutely a thing.
Done.
There's a woman locally who I'm actually gonna have on my show soon, and yeah, she just hires, or people hire her by the hour for cuddling, and it's entirely non-sexual actually, but you just lay there, you can take a nap. Yeah,
It's super
right?
exciting.
I can do that.
Right?
I'm-
Yeah, it's
I
fantastic.
feel like I'm a pretty good cuddler.
You are.
This is an emerging market. You gotta get in there.
I am looking for a new job.
There are local celebrities. That could probably have a premium.
I don't think we're quite there.
No, we're definitely
Timaree, I know you do a lot of lectures on things, sexuality, and also horror movies and stuff like that. Is there like a specific horror film you like?
A specific horror movie I like.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Why are horror movies always so kind of coupled with sex? Like it's never like, you don't see a horror movie that's not very sexy and then very gory.
Well, because horror movies, like, it's really interesting because it's like simultaneously the most subversive genre, right? Because it's like all of the things that you're not supposed to put in a film, but at the same time, if you do the things that are sinful, you will die. Right? So
Yeah.
it's simultaneously like we get to indulge all of our whims, all of our desires, all of the things that we want to see people get things cut off. We want to see boobies, all of the things we want to see, but we feel bad. We're like, we're not supposed to show boobies, and so she's gotta die. Like, we want to see teens party, and we all of the things, but you have to be punished for pleasure because we are stupid, and religion.
Go on!
Which is why, of all the genres of films, Catholic priests are in horror films more than any other genre. Like,
It's because we all want to see them die.
Give you guys a room here. No, so why do you think that when somebody's making a horror movie and they kind of have this leeway to be really kind of push the envelope, and yet they will still kind of follow that, like, well, she had sex, so time to get a knife in the back. You know, why would they not? Is there a movie that kind of bucks that trend for you?
we're getting there. It's more meta now. Like we have like Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, Scream was sort of the first entree into that meta of like discussing the genre of film as a commentary, like how we choose what is scary. So for a horror movie to work, it has to be like proximally on its face scary, like fangs, claws, sharp, something. And then it also has to like be representative of something like deeper seated, right? So, and this is why like vampires and zombies stay in the culture, because they continue to be symbolic of something. So it used to be that vampires were representative of foreigners, and then they were gay people, and now they're sparkly. I don't know.
I'm honestly terrified of sparkly things.
Yeah.
Your shirt scares me.
Stay out of eye candy.
What's interesting with zombie movies is that they've only recently, it was always like, oh, I'm going to go to a zombie movie and the zombies aren't going to be sexy. But now you've got like Aubrey Plaza playing zombies in movies, and then you've got zombie rom-coms where like the zombie is the...
Yeah, zombie cheerleaders, zombie strippers, zombie, there's tons of them.
We could go on.
Yeah.
So I think like zombies are kind of taking the vampire's long-seated seat on the like the sexiest monster.
Well, it's not that zombies inherently are sexy, because zombies are like at this current incarnation representative of the fact that like you hate your job. That's ultimately what it means. It's like if there's a zombie apocalypse, you know what it means? You don't have to go to your stupid job anymore. You don't have to go to your stupid job. And if you don't like somebody in traffic, shoot them and be like, oh, I thought they were dead.
Oh my god, he was starting his car really weird.
Yeah. It's like the zombie apocalypse is just like our modern like fetish fantasy of like not having to deal with living in a city anymore. Really. And everything's super simple.
We have an escape plan.
We just want to sexualize it.
Do you have an
Yeah?
escape plan?
Oh, I haven't gone over with you the zombie escape plan.
Well, my escape plan is shoot you in the leg. I mean that in the most loving way possible, but you've lived longer than me already, so.
Older than you, if that's what you mean. Got a lot of stuff coming out tonight, guys. That's about to kill me. So you're very into sex positivity, and where do you stand on I guess what's the biggest factor increasing sexism now, and how can we combat it with sex positivity?
How do we combat sexism with sex positivity?
Sure.
Is that the question?
Absolutely. Or think of a more intelligent way to put that, and then answer that question.
Well, just speaking on, perhaps people are not familiar with the term sex positivity. How many people are like, meh? Meh? Alright, so sex positivity is the idea that sexuality, in whatever way it manifests for you, whether it means that you don't ever have sex, whatever, you have it with lots of different people, you have it with one person all the time in the exact same position, whatever you like is fine, as long as everybody's on board, bodies are good, pleasure is inherently valuable, and your business is yours. That's essentially
So that is kind of the opposite of these ideas that we were talking about earlier, with like ingrained in these horror movies of just like, oh, you should be ashamed of your sexuality, or it's something to be feared. And do you see it culturally as kind of moving in that direction? Is it slow going, or or making leaps and bounds?
We're getting there. Like, it's kind of cool to be feminist this week. I mean, like, we'll see next week. I don't know. Like, it's heading in a generally good direction. The problem is that we have this ubiquity of sexuality in media, right? You can see billboards everywhere, but it's not really sexuality. It's like white women's body parts, and like specific white women, and like that is, so now you know to buy that car. And it's not really sex. It's not really the experience of sex as any of us have sex. Like we have, like dimples and hairs that get ingrown and like pleasure and all those things. So we don't actually talk about sexuality. We just have this commodified version of it, and so that's everywhere. And but it's not terrible, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
And the way to combat that is increased dialogue at just all levels of society. And how about age? How about ages? When do you think? When would you start talking about sexual positivity with a child? Say?
With a child? That's like a lifelong thing. I mean, I don't know if you are aware, but sexuality obviously is like a lifelong thing. Fetuses get erections. Infants masturbate. Yeah, it's true. It's real. Like bodies. Yeah. Right?
It's actually something I knew, which I'm proud of.
I don't know if you know, but it feels good if you touch your stuff. So, babies are all like, and then they hit some stuff and like, and they keep doing it. And then that's sex. There it is. And so you start these conversations always. It's always the thing you're talking about. Obviously, you use developmentally appropriate language. Obviously, you're going to talk about it in terms of what's contextually important to the child, and not put your own lens onto it. Like, a little kid might be like, they had sex in the bathroom, and they don't mean like people put a hard thing in a wet thing. They mean like they showed each other their belly buttons, like, because you don't know what it means to them, right? So you have to mostly be asking kids questions, like, what do you think that means, or why are you asking about that? Like, why is this interesting to you? It's more important to be a place that a kid can go to than it is to be like, here are all the things, because we don't necessarily know all the things they're going to need to know. Plus, also, the internet exists, so you can look up the answers later.
Yeah, having the back of the book, the teacher's edition book for everything you could possibly do. The internet.
Explaining the internet?
You are a time traveler, right?
I have the internet.
Is that a phablet? It's really big.
No, it's just a bit, yeah. What's up?
Are you fat shaming his phone?
She never said that was a negative thing. She just said it was big.
You're right, that was on me.
It's big and beautiful.
That's right. I'll drink to that. Good work, yes.